So last night I was up at randomly at 1:30 in the morning. I couldn't sleep, so I was scrolling through TikTok lives, and all of a sudden I come across this girl's page named Jess Hathaway, right? Had no idea I was already following her. Also, didn't know she had the abilities that she had. But all of a sudden I'm scrolling through TikTok lives, and I see this really concerned look on her face. And I'm like, who is this woman? What's going on with this woman? Why does she look so concerned? Let me see what's going on, right? So I'm watching her live, and she's, looking to the side, and she's like, okay, but hold on. And she's looking in the live, and she's like, you can tell she's reading the comments. And then all of a sudden she's like, is anyone in here lost a female loved one in January? And my heart dropped. I immediately typed in the comments, yes. I was like, what is she saying? And she's like, hold on, I need to know I need to make sure this message is for you. So I was like, okay, here we go. Let's see what's up, right? She's like, is it a female? And I was like, yes. Did you lose her in January? I was like, yes. She was like, is this a mother figure for you? Maybe, but I don't think it's your mom. And I was like, correct, she's my grandmother. And she's like, okay. And she's like, did something good just happen? Did you just graduate, or did you just? And I was like, I just got accepted to school. She's like, okay. She was like, is your grandmother 5'6", 5'7"? Is she a taller woman? And before my grandmother's deterioration in health, yes, she was a very tall woman. She was only a few inches shorter than me. So I was like, yes, she was about 5'7", and she was like, what's your grandmother's name? And I was like, her name's Betty. And she was like, and she gave me this nod in the live, and she's like, okay. She's like, her hair right now is yellow. It's glowing gold. And I was like, yeah, she used to have blonde curly hair. She was like, curly. She's like, yeah. She was like, did she used to put curlers in her hair? And I was like, yeah, every night before bed, she would wrap them up in a curler and then put this cage holder thing on them. So she's like, okay. She's like, but she's telling me that her husband passed before her, long before her. And I was like, yeah, my grandfather passed away 10 years prior to her passing. And she was like, okay. She's like, Victoria, I think this message is for you. And I was like, I know it is. I knew this message was for me as soon as I got into your live, and a female loved one passed away in January. I knew it was for me. So she was like, okay. She was like, I was like, what is she saying? And she was like, I'm going to try not to tear up. She was like, she knows and has seen that some people in your life have not been very good to you. Some of the most important people in your life have been putting you down. And she wants you to know that she loves you, and that she's still here for you, and that she is proud of you. She wants you to know that you're on the right path, that you getting accepted into school is the right thing that you need to be doing. And then she was like, do you have a ring of hers? And I was like, yes, I do. And I didn't say anything. I was just like, yes, I have a ring. And she was like, she's telling me that when you twirl her ring or wear it, that she's with you at that time. She sees you do it. She can feel you doing it. She's with you. And she told you, she wants me to tell you to get it cleaned. And I chuckled, because it's just an old vintage ring, and I haven't cleaned it, and it's a little dirty, and I kind of like that look for it. But she said, get the ring cleaned, and know that when you wear it and play with it, that I'm with you, and that she sees me crying and clutching it, and she wants you to know that she's with you still, and that she loves you, and that she's proud of you, and that you're still her favorite. And at that point, I lost it. I'm in this live stream, at 1:30 in the morning on my bed, bawling my eyes out, sobbing, because these are all things that nobody knows about. Nobody knows about that ring. Nobody. I wear that ring. Nobody asked me where it comes from. Nobody asked me who gave it to me. Nobody has ever seen me clutch that ring in my moments of weakness, because I've always been alone when I've done that. So for this complete fucking stranger to know that about me just solidified and confirmed that like she really was speaking to my grandmother. And she told me that my grandpa was the one who came and got her when it was her time to go. And that she's not in any pain anymore, and that she's happy, and that she's still with me. She just wanted to tell me that she loved me and was proud of me, because no one in my life recently has told me that, because I have been going through some shit that I don't post about, shit that I don't talk about with people, and this complete stranger just knew all of this stuff that only my grandmother would know. And at the end, she said, you know, you're still her favorite. And the medium told me, she was like, she's been with me for hours, bugging me, find her, find her, find her. And then you just pop into my live stream. And I was like, yeah, I woke up out of a dead sleep and couldn't go back to sleep for some reason. So I hop on TikTok lives, and I'm trying to just fill my boredom. And here pops through my grandmother, who died in January of this year, and who my grandfather had passed away 10 years prior to her, whose ring that I wear almost every day. And I just like, honestly, it just like blew my mind, because I have always gone back and forth between like being super spiritual and religious, and you know, I grew up Methodist, going to church twice a week, like I know about heaven and Jesus and all the shit in between. And now as an adult, you know, I kind of abandoned those roots and have went down a different path with my spirituality, but I have always clung to the fact that like even when they leave this world or this realm, they're still not technically gone. And that right there, like, confirmed and solidified any doubts that I may have had. And once it happened, I was like, am I going crazy? Was that real? Like, what's truly going on right now? How did this fucking stranger know all of this shit? Like, I've never met this woman in my life. I have never communicated with this woman at all on any social media platforms. This was like the most random thing that had ever occurred to me. And it was just a blessing. It was just one of those things that like, I'm so glad I experienced. It's one of those things that I'm so glad that I was able to have. And, you know, if you have recently lost a loved one, just know that they're not truly gone, and that you can find peace through mediums as long as your heart and your mind is open and willing to accept that. But if you believe in something else, that they're in heaven and they're gone and that's that, then good for you. But, you know, maybe you'll see them then. But I believe that they're always with me. And yeah, it makes a lot of sense, because just a few days prior to that, one of my kids' toys went off by itself in the living room and no one was near it. And that night, I woke up in the middle of the night and I heard the words, "Pop Pop wants to play, Pop Pop wants to play." And it sounded like my grandmother's voice, and my Pop Pop was her husband, my grandpa. And he loved playing with us as kids. So it would only make sense that he would want to play with my kids. That's 3 years old and 10. And it all just makes sense now. And I don't know, it's just super comforting. So if you're watching this and you've recently lost someone, just know that you can find comfort too. Just be open to it. Thanks, Jess Hathaway.